Okay, I'm back for round two of When Rocks Talk, the consciousness of matter. And what does it matter? Oh, I got a lot of jokes. So we're talking about the Father of Manifestation, which is to say God's body. God created form. When God created form, it was the Father of Manifestation that made everything happen. The Father of Manifestation gave form to everything that God created. So that's what I'm talking about. And I was talking about, rocks and how this rock talked to me and told me a lot of stuff and started this download that I'm talking about now. And don't leave this out of the element. Out of all the stuff that I've talked about, don't leave out the fact that there's a personality. God, the rock of Earth, Mother Earth, is a personality. It's a being that is conscious and has all the attributes of consciousness. It's just like the ones that you pray to, and Shiva, Shakti, Buddha, Christ, Krishna, Muhammad. All those things are personalities, manifestations of personalities of a consciousness that is in physical form. So I want to continue with this download. When I talk about the vibrations of atoms, the vibrations of consciousness of matter, and what does that matter? When I talk about rock, I don't just mean a rock you pick up in your hand. Rock is all the physical elements like iron, copper, zinc, uh, gold, silver, all the elements of earth that are physical have their own vibrational frequency and their own stories to tell and their own message. And when they get together, the totality of it, is part of the mix of this life. Um, it's just I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of it's just too much really to take in, because it's like a paradigm shift for me and for a lot of people. Is that life was created out of a rock and water, and has to do with air, has to do with the sun, the the elements of fire, air, water, and earth. These elements are very real, and what's not really what was known and intuitive to older generations was that this this stuff, the Father, Son, Mother Earth, the elements of the air, elements of the water, were beings with personalities. And we see that with the Greeks. They had actual gods. We see that with the Egyptians. They had actual gods, a god of this and a god of that, and the personality of this thing happening, and the personality of that thing happening, and the power of death and the power of life, and brothers and sisters and all this kind of junk. Well, what was real then is real now. We have different centers of consciousness within inside of us, and we have these elements within inside of us. We have earth, fire, water, and air inside of us, and that communicates in different levels, in different ways. We're polyphrenic. That means multiple personalities, and we're multidimensional. We have different dimensions. There's the dimension of this and dimension of that, and our emotional dimension and our physical dimension, and we're multi-dimensional polyphrenic beings, and we don't observe like that. We don't perceive like that. We just perceive normal reality, just living every day, go to the grocery store, watch TV, play on the internet. But all of this stuff is part of the mix, and it's seamless. It's seamless until you focus your attention, focus your awareness on what's going on. It's not obvious to you. It's just seamless. Matter is matter, and air is air, and so on. But one of the things I want to talk about is about this amazing thing. It's like, well, okay, everybody's talking about Earth changes, and this is happening, and that's happening, and Earth is making earthquakes everywhere, and a few volcanoes everywhere, and water's kicking up and doing tsunamis, and then you got the weather changing, and so the earth, the dirt part of the earth and the water part of the earth are coming together and messing up the atmosphere. So you got tornadoes and hurricanes and floods, and stuff is happening that the earth is vibrating in a different way, doing different things, putting out different kind of an energy. And here we are, being part of it. But there's more, because being a full spectrum human being and being a full spectrum consciousness, the beings that are the water, the air, the sun, the universe, those beings, those beings are part of the mix. And our relationship to the sun, the earth, the water, the air, the universe, needs to be reawakened. And so you could say, well, an earthquake is a pretty powerful, earthquakes all over the earth. That's a pretty powerful communication. I saw on the internet quite a few videos of people playing with water, and they're actually communicating with water. They did all these kind of experiments with water, and they freeze it, so they would talk to the water, give love to the water, different kinds of love to the water. They'd freeze it, and they'd form different kind of crystals. And then they had other experiments where all these students in a class would put down drops of water, and every single drop of water was different from student to student. But every single drop of water that each individual student put down was similar. So it's like the water is responding to us. Water records to us. That's a very simple form of communication. And you got all the orgone people out there. They're like what do you call it? They're putting rock and little seashells and little bits of wire, and putting all this stuff together, and then they say, well, listen, my life's changed, my atmosphere's changed, and stuff is changing and I feel better. and my head changed. My head has changed because I put all these elements together and put them in a little plastic ball, a little plastic shape, and you know, uh, there's a whole bunch of people out there doing orgone energy and making these little orgone devices and interfacing with that. But but remember, so there's this physical changes that people are recording all over. There's a lot of those. But remember that take it to another level, which is it's a personality, there's a being, there's a consciousness there that you can interface and that will interface with you. Okay, now I'm going to make it kind of like this is kind of going to go off into the left field kind of thing. If you can kind of like get all that, that air interfaces with you and records what you feel and think, and physical matter interfaces with you and records and can relate to what you think and feel and do. But there's many people out there who are connected to Mother Earth. They talk to Mother Earth. They worship Mother Earth. They love Mother Earth, and and the rocks and the planet and everything that's going on. And we still have this paradigm that rock, water, air, fire, the sun are these kind of inanimate, mutable things that we can kind of interface with, but we still haven't shifted over to they are beings. Our father, our mother, our uncles, our mentors, our creators. We haven't shifted over to that fully yet. We haven't taken that into the level of who we are, and we can. So, okay, well, if Mother Earth wants to talk to us, how would she do that? So you have psychic people and tree huggers, and which trust me, you talk to somebody who's hugged a tree, and all of a sudden their whole fucking life changes a little bit. They're starting to get stuff. Their energy shifts from hugging a tree. That's real for them. And the Indians doing vision quests and finding animal spirits, and people doing ayahuasca and communicating with all kind of natural elements and energies. It's been around for a long time. But what I want to say is this. Right now you're looking at me over the internet. I'm making a video. And what made the internet possible? Well, people kind of discovered that there was this thing called electricity, and electricity would travel over wire, which is one of the elements of Earth. It's copper, gold, silver, whatever kind of wire that they want to transmit, and the magnetic and electric, zoomed around, pulsed around, modulated. It was like our way of kind of trying to interface with this energy that we found, this phenomena that we found called electric, and we used so electric was this magnets and that created electric and would zoom along the line, and that just kept going and going, and then they put these little tiny bits of uh, uh, of copper conductive materials, conductive elements, onto a little piece of silicone, a little piece of rock, and use that to like build up resistors and little switches that would go on and off, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And they built up languages out of that, and calculators all out of that. The first computers were kind of like calculators, And um, but that's looking from human beings trying to manipulate reality through taking matter, which is earth elements, the energy of electricity, and interfacing that with physical things like copper and silicone and with things that had different properties to it that would do different things. And we are egocentric, so we say, okay, we created that. You know, the people created that. The scientists created that. The inventors created that. But what if it was the other way around? What if the Earth said, I want to communicate with you? So let me teach you how to do it. Take this thing that I have, one of my qualities, which is electricity, and and play with that, and then take it and see how you can modify it with it. See how you can create music with that. See the kind of dance you can do with the energy that is me. So computers, music, radio, radio transmitted through the air, TV signals transmitted through the air. We say, okay, this is what we have done, but what if it was what the earth wanted to have done? That's a different story. What if the earth said, I want you all to wake up, to be entertained, to be fascinated by this dance of consciousness that I can do for you. I can do a dance of consciousness for you. I can entertain you. I can give to you. I can teach you. I can show you. This is all done like TV. And okay, well then after TV kind of manifested, radio manifested to a certain degree, and then TV, which is like all of a sudden you got images coming over the waves and stuff, and then you got, then it kind of progressed into well, okay, well, let's see if we can't hook up different people through the telephone and through the other wires, that we can send messages back and forth. And we say, oh, okay, this is what the scientists did. Scientists decided that they would talk about messages back and forth or in these closed circuits, and so they actually made computers and interface devices, and then they made the internet. And there was military purposes for it, and scientific purposes for it, and educational purposes for it, and communication purposes for it. And we still are kind of ego-driven, saying, well, this is us conquering reality. But what if it was the spirit of earth spoon-feeding us, giving to us an interface so that we could actually hear, see, know things that we were never able to know before? I mean, it's kind of like a revolutionary idea if you think. So where I'm going with this is if you follow this little train of logic, this little train of download, that the earth itself, the elements itself, wish for all of us to communicate and connect and be one recognizable group and be in relationship with each other. So the consciousness of Earth herself, in the form of water, electric, light, energy, manifested a reality that a form of reality we call the internet. Okay, So now, now it's like 2012. We can talk to anybody in the world. I have people uh, that are friends of mine in Bangladesh and India and Pakistan, Iran, Ireland, uh, Indonesia. I have friends all over the world. There's not many, but I have a few. And then most of my friends are in the United States. And we talk back and forth, and all of a sudden we have YouTube, and it's just like wave after wave of history and new understandings and uh, and fill in the blanks and what's going on here and the bad things that are happening. All this stuff is coming to us. It's like this huge increase in awareness and consciousness and understanding has come to this planet. And we all talking about, oh, the fear mongers and this bad things are going to happen. Well, yeah, bad things seem to be happening all the time, but now we're so much more conscious of it. Okay, so we're swept up in this river of this torrent of information and paradigm shifts and understandings that are changing and and uh, and truth that's coming out and lives that are being revealed and UFOs and aliens and all kind of junk. So what I'm saying is, don't be distracted by this exclusively. Make room for something else that is going on additionally, and that is that this thing was created by a consciousness that is superior to all of us, that inspires and downloads the scientists and the investigators and the truth seekers and the entertainers and the people who make jokes and the people who are just silly. There's something that's inspiring the full spectrum of what it is to be a human being. There's something that is enlivening that is given life to that and communicates through that. Okay? So hold on to this for a minute. So we have this phenomena that we're all involved with. The new TV news is this, and the internet is that, and all that. And we have Facebook and all these kind of things, and phones and iPod, and Twitters and multiple devices to play around in the ethers and receive information and send information out. It's kind of amazing, really. But what if you step back and say, well, there's a consciousness behind this, and this consciousness is aware and it has a personality. What if God the Father and God the Mother wanted to talk to you? How would they do it? What if God the Father, God the Mother, all the elements wanted to talk to you, wanted to communicate to you, wanted to show you love, teach you, enliven you, entertain you, enrich you? What if that was the fundamental? What was that? Was your fundamental point of view, your stance? Then that changes everything. That thing. Well, okay. If rocks can talk, and water can hear, and that's kind of the way it is, then how come the creator of everything that is, of you, cannot talk to you through the internet? If you change your mind a little bit and say, this is God talking, this is God talking in the form of Jonathan, this is God talking in the form of Thomas, this is, God talking in the form of Hakeem, the consciousness of matter and the consciousness of spirit and the personality of God, the mother of all, Mother Earth, is actually communicating to people continuously through this medium. And that's kind of like a pretty profound thing. I have a lot more things to say because, like I said, this is a download. These are the connections I'm making. You may not be in the same place to make those connections, or maybe I'm just out in left field. But what happens if you say every person on my friends list has a little piece of a message that the Mother Earth wants to talk about, whether it's the food they eat, or the date they went on, or the party they went to, or the outrage they have against this war or that injustice or the government. It's kind of like instead of being just these isolated little blobs, we are connected to a consciousness that is not only with all human beings, but also with all the energy of the universe, with the earth and the planets and it's like they're all kind of buzzing now. So I don't know if this making sense. I mean, it's not making that much sense to me in some ways, but you can feel judgmental about somebody posting too many things about what they had for dinner. But if you take it to another level and say, well, that's a form of love that they're feeling, and Mother Earth gave them that, and you can always take it. Like I said, we're multi-dimensional beings, so there's just you and me and my friends and what they think, and they're jerks and they're smart and they're whatever. But you can also take it to another level, which is this is has never happened before, where in this way the pure elements of consciousness, the Mother Earth herself, God the Father himself, the sun, the planets, are actually talking to us in a way that if we allow ourselves to index that, then there's a different connection. There's a different meaning, and this has a lot to do with evil too, like all the bad stuff, the wars and the poverty and the stuff like that. That it has to do with that stuff too. There is some stuff that I don't think, when you hear all the people say this war over here is bad, and Gaza's this, and the Middle East is that, and people are suffering in every country, and uh, that needs to be felt as a communication. And the earth is rumbling and making sounds and shifting and storms that are going where they've never been before, and the climate is changing like it's never done before, and there's like a primal meta message here that okay, you can look at it as like, well, who did this? Is it the heart people, or some kind of government deal? Or is there or if this was Mother Earth herself talking, and the air and the water and the earth and the sun, if they're talking through our voice. They're talking from the conclusions that people have made, the observations that people have made, and in that way we can, you can feel a little bit more important. Uh, Not more important, but it's not just dumb earth, dumb rocks, dumb weather. There's consciousness there. There's a God there. There's a reality there, and we are part of that mix, and that is part of our mix. So I don't know. That's not to, I could go on and on about this. I probably got enough information about this to last a few hours. But next time you go on the internet, instead of just looking at people's stupid comments and their inspiring comments, the things you agree with and the things you don't agree with, look at the whole thing as, this is God talking, and this is Mother Earth talking. And they use their most verbal form of crown of creation, this human body. They use them to say the things that need to be said. And it's not just one thing, it's everything. and you can listen to everything because you're multidimensional and polyphrenic. You have many personalities and many ways of perceiving. We have our favorite, you know, which is our normal self, but we have many ways of perceiving. We have many values that we can place on the way we perceive and how we perceive and what the meaning of what we perceive is. So that's enough. That's enough of this. This was like the first major kind of conclusion of my download. The rocks are conscious, and there's a whole bunch of information out there about how this is. Just to throw it out there, if you think of consciousness, right? We think of consciousness as this ephemeral thing, but if consciousness like it was like atoms, and so you have a certain amount of atoms that are a certain distance between each other in air, and then there's atoms floating around in space, and they have a certain distance from each other, and then the atoms in water are a certain distance from each other. I'm talking density. And then the atoms of things like, copper and steel and iron and earth and granite, their atoms, and lead, their atoms are much closer together. It could very well be that there's more consciousness, a more concentration of consciousness in the matter that's densely packed than there is in, or a different type of, or more interfacing with than things that are less packed together. So we might have, it's very well possible that we might have this whole thing of, the subtle is more conscious and the dense is less conscious. It might be the other way around. It might be that the more dense something is, it's on a vibrational frequency that we don't get, and it's only up to a certain level of consciousness, a certain level of vibration that we do get our spectrum of visual perception. Like with light's that way, it's a little very narrow band of what we can perceive, but light spectrum is huge, much bigger than what we can perceive with our physical eyes. And it could be the same way with consciousness itself. It could be that the physical dense form of matter has more consciousness and more intent and understanding than the subtler realms. I don't know. I just think that might be another way of looking at it, but it's pretty groovy when you can think that God the Mother and God the Father can actually talk and is actually talking over Facebook and on all these different videos that people create. There's a divine intelligence in all that, and so we can be entertained and educated, but also you can be enriched by saying, okay, well, that's what God telling me, that's what the truth is, and and it's big, it's massive. There's huge amounts of information on every single topic and every single subject and every single viewpoint, and it's all that communication of love and entertainment and enrichment that's being given to us now. It's really kind of an amazing thing, really. So no fear, enjoy the ride. Maybe we'll chat again when I got another topic to talk on. I've got a lot of things to say because I've been given a lot of downloads. Downloads are fun. Well, thanks a lot. Bye.